Right? Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, so basically, I'm from the Picha project. I'm one of the co-founders. We have 3 of them. But I'm the CEO. I do business development in this social enterprise. So we run a social enterprise. It's a food delivery and catering service where we empower marginalized groups in Malaysia. Currently, we focus on refugee communities.
Who's hungry now? Who's hungry? They need food. Can you supply now?
Can call me now.
Okay. All right. Okay. Give applause to our wonderful people here. All right. As a moderator, I just want to you guys to engage interactively. Okay. We're gonna have our Q&A session later on. Okay. But along the way, if you have something in your mind that you need to clarify or anything that you want to ask, please ask. Okay. Then these people would like to assist you, in future. All right. So, Max, in HealthMetrics, yeah. So, over the years, when we look at the future employment trends in the next 10 years, right? I was in the recruitment industry for 8 years, so I can see the evolution. When I started my career as a headhunter back in 2010 to 2017, there are some evolution happens, all right? So now we are talking about the next 10 years future. So over the years, what are the major changes you have seen in the job recruitment industry from your related experience?
So from what I actually see from everyone here, you guys are all pretty young. So you'll be expecting the next 10 years, like which kind of skills you actually require, am I right? True. So this is where I delve into crystal ball territory, right? Because I can't actually tell you exactly what kind of skills, but essentially what I'm going to share with you is essentially what kind of skills that we are looking for and what kind of teammates that we are looking for as well. Because hiring is actually not a very easy task. In fact, it's one of the hardest tasks you can ever do. In fact, hiring will be your main job if you are in management or even anywhere, because hiring the best talent will ensure that your team excels the best out of it. So of course, with a technical person, it's definitely crucial if you are essentially building a web application. So web application meaning that, when you log into Facebook, that alone is a web application. But that is actually a brainchild of, Mark Zuckerberg himself. So if you think that coding and all this creating web applications is only done by the software engineers, you are extremely wrong. Because not only software engineers will need to code next time. In fact, even sales and marketing will need to code as well, right? So why do I actually say this? Is because, say, a salesperson, right? You need to meet maybe 3 people a day, right? 3 people, what happens if you want to close more? It's either you fill the sales funnel, as many people as you can, you meet as many people as you can, or essentially improve your conversion from lead to customer. All right, there's only 2 ways you can do it. All right, so if we talk about using coding or using automation, in basically using as a tool to make yourself appear everywhere, all right? You use something called marketing automation. That's one thing you can use. Essentially, when a salesperson come back, instead of spending 1 hour or 2 hours coming up with a proposal, you can actually pull out a template that has been preset already, put in the relevant details from your meeting, and essentially just send it out. And that software alone can do it for you. That doesn't need a lot of coding skills.
All right, okay. So I think I understand that you actually come from the technical background kind of thing. So if you have a candidate that comes with 2 packages, one is with the technical experience, tip-top, and second one with the personality, with a less experience, what would be your preference?
Right. That's a very good question. Let's just put different positions require different candidates, okay? When someone rejects you, do not take it as you personally. But it's just that your skills may not fit what they want, right? So if I'm going to hire a salesperson or if I'm going to hire a marketing person, I will need someone who is very approachable, not only just technical, right? So if it's personality, yes, very important, but you also need a skill of a storyteller. A storytelling of how you actually portray yourself and how do you portray your product that will benefit your customer. So that is important if I'm hiring someone who is front-facing.
I see. Yeah. Okay, understood. So, adik-adik semua dapat tak capture dia punya points kat situ semua. Okay, so you need to have your education, your technical skills, and at the same time, you need to be able to be a very good communicator. Because during the interview is actually the day of you selling yourself, okay? You're putting a price tag on you. Hey, please hire me. But then, the hiring manager need to see what are the values that you can add it to the company. Am I right, Max?
That is right.
Okay, good. Oh, we'll talk about later behind her. A price tag, you want me to sing the Katy Perry song or?
Please don't.
Okay, all right. Okay, you have anything to add on, Luqman, on whatever? I know that you are from media backgrounds, I believe that personality, excellence, super sexy, perhaps, maybe, that good-looking guys, or maybe nice, attractive personality. So maybe you can add on some thought.
Well, yeah, I believe Max has already summed everything up. But let me just say it like this, lah. How many of you are in university now?
Wow.
How many of you, honestly, do not want to work in a job that is related to what you're studying now? Honestly. When I say honestly, more hands pop up. So they were dishonest before. I guess my point is, not just for this particular question, and in fact for this whole session, future employment trends, is that I also studied nothing remotely related to what I'm doing now. And after that, I did a bunch of jobs that are not even remotely related to what I'm doing now, or what I studied. I studied law, and then I studied political science, and then I worked in corporate, and I even worked in HR. And then I'm here now in media doing news.
So got everything lah.
Yeah, jack of all trades and a master of none lah. So I think that's what's important. For you to equip yourself with skills that are everlasting and evergreen and transcend all fields, whether you are studying engineering, whether you're studying literature, whatever. There are certain set of skills that are invaluable no matter what you study and no matter what you do. And I believe this might be a bit cliche because we've been hearing it for the past 10 years, speak good English, polish your soft skills, your interpersonal skills and things like that. I know that you've heard that a million times, but I see that's true. So how I went through my journey, did a lot of different jobs. How I adapted is just to be good at a few key things. Speak good English, speak well, no matter where you study engineering or whatever. Please ensure that you have a good grasp of these skills, and no matter where you're put, no matter where you're thrown, because most of you will probably work in a job that's not related to what you're studying now. Very demotivating, right?
Nice.
So, but that's how you make yourself invaluable, no matter where you work. What was the question again?
So, Karel, I just want to add. I can relate to that point. It's actually, I study engineering, I study manufacturing. I know that my personality won't fit into the engineering, but I'm just doing engineering because for the sake of fulfilling my parents' dreams whatsoever. But along the way, when you do the engineering, and then it's something you just feels that, hey, actually my passion is not in this industry. Why don't you actually explore what is really makes you feel better? Right? So when I got the opportunity to become headhunter, hey, come on, man, this is awesome job. I'm meeting a lot of people every day, meeting a lot of super good, some people are very quirky whatsoever. Don't worry about that, okay? But please, in future, you just need to chase the dreams that maybe with your passion, right? All right, okay. So, Kim, maybe you just can share with us some of the challenges that recruiting for your own team.
Basically, we recruit people in a startup phase. We're just 1.5 years old. I think the challenges is that 3 co-founders are ladies, so we cannot hire guys at all. No guys want to work with us.
Is it racist? No.
I don't know. Sexist? I don't know. Yeah, I think we start out as a startup as we have to do everything. Basically, we run a catering service and a food delivery service. How we started off is really us delivering the food, us tasting the food. Tasting the food is the best part of the job. But there are also a lot of things that we have to sacrifice, like what Imran shared just now, where he shared that he had to sacrifice himself, 1,200 ringgit salary, stays in a dodgy place. We are working out of a condominium, and we had to do a lot of physical work, and then we had to do office work. So it's not really a kind of work that probably all of you here would really like, but at the end of the day, it really boils down to what we want to see at the end of the tunnel. So we want to see changes, and changes comes with a lot of price. But like Imran shared just now, the satisfaction is there. The satisfaction is way higher than you earning a great salary. Of course, you have to be sustainable. That's why we call social enterprise, where we have to be sustainable in our business model and in our personal lives before helping other people. And the other challenges probably when we face students that graduates that comes in with a personality that thinks that I come here to work. I want a comfortable 9-to-5 job.
True, yeah.
And don't ask me to do any physical work. And I want a salary of 3,500 ringgit. It is ridiculous. It's ridiculous. I don't know where on earth they get an idea that I am worth that much. No, you don't worth that much yet, because your experience does not level to that kind of salary price yet. It takes a lot of effort, because we're in a generation of fast-paced technology and things. We think that we want to reach to our target faster, so we gave a price straight to ourselves. But no, you don't give your price straight to yourself. It's based on your experience. We give you that price first. Yep. True. And you work your bus, you work your ass off to really go towards that goal that you want. And so we live at a very fast-paced life. So people always want things really fast. But no, it takes a lot of time, patience, and hard work. That is the thing that I think most of us need to know today.
Oh, okay. All right. That's really, really good point.
You said ass.
Yeah. Okay, Luqman, I don't know your age, okay? You graduated which year?
2 years ago.
Oh,
Just kidding lah.
Okay, so maybe you can...
This is about the age of these people.
Okay, so you were in their shoes before, right? Studying, almost graduate. I'm looking for a job. So maybe you can tell us what your experience in getting your first job, on how you actually preparing yourself to go for the interview for your first job, if you remember lah.
Well, what are you implying? It was a long time ago. Well, my case was very unique. I mean, uniquely hard. I know probably everyone would say this, but I studied a course called International Relations, which is something like political science, but with a more international focus. A lot of you probably don't even know what that is, and that's precisely what my challenge was. If I'm not mistaken, the university that I was studying in, they don't have that course anymore, even. So when I graduated, employers did not even know what I studied. They'll be like, oh, what do you study? International relations. What's that? Okay, and I explained blah, 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 blah. Oh, okay, then how would you fit into this company? And then macam krik. So it was particularly hard for me. But as I've said, you have to pick something to make yourself stand out. Now, a lot of students that I speak to today, they always have this preconceived notion or misconception that, oh, only a few people can stand out. Dia orang yang terror-terror, yang boleh cakap, yang ada aura ke apa benda ke. I'm just another face in the crowd. That's not true. There are literally like thousands of ways that you can stand out. If one is taken at your workplace or at your university, if you cannot beat that guy in one thing, find something else. You know, always find something to make yourself stand out. Does any one of you here actually think that that you stand out in one particular area? Ni Mamat ni. What do you stand out in? Ken lah, you lah. Dia pakai baju hitam tengok belakang tu.
Yang baju.
What's your best skill?
Louder, a bit louder, you know. You are training yourself actually to speak louder, yeah.
I do think I have a flair in writing because I am mainly interested in the more literature part of English. So yeah.
You're studying English and literature.
No, I'm studying architecture right now.
Okay.
See, that's my point.
Two different world. Okay.
But I've been in your shoes. See, you have one skill, at least one skill that you've identified that you are going to be good in. So focus on a few things. Be very good at what you do. Don't just be another face in the crowd, because it is a very challenging job market. And how I brought myself up through the job market is just to find a few things that you would stand out in. Some of you are still very young. You still probably don't know what your skill sets are. Most of you don't even know what you want to do in life. When I was your age, I was just still macam jolly je all day long. But don't follow in my footsteps lah.
Jangan ambil idea tu, don't take that advice to jolly, you know.
Yeah, we got a bit carried away then. So yeah, that was my experience. But I think the underlying concept that you need, the key takeaway is just to make yourself stand out. And when you go to that interview, when you go to that presentation, when you submit your resume, you're not just another face in the crowd. You stand out, and the employers or prospective employers would actually notice something different about you and will want to hire you.
Okay, Max. I know that you were young. You're still young, right? See, he's young, good-looking guy, right? Okay. So he was from big pharma company called Novartis. Have you heard about Novartis before? Yeah. Okay. He's from a big firm. Okay. So he's actually in a highly demand because of his skill, his talent, you know, and his passion. So maybe Max, maybe you can share with them actually on why actually you left a big company and joining another company. What is actually you looking for? Is it because of the name of the company, or is it of the career advancements that you're looking for?
Right. That's actually a very good point, because jumping from corporate to I would say SME, it's actually a big decision. So I was actually in corporate for close to 2.5 years. It was quite a long time in a corporate setting, and trying to jump into SME where everything it's everywhere seems to be a very daunting task, right? So the main thing that you need to always prep yourself is what happens when things don't go right. Okay, things will definitely not go the way you want it. You can always plan, right? You can always see where you want to go, but halfway through, something is going to come up. But the main importance and the thing that you need to always think about is actually how are you relating yourself with the people around you. Okay, so when you join a company, I was very convinced because the founding team actually spoke to me, and they really stood behind me and said that if things don't go well, if you do anything wrong, all right, it's not on you. It's market conditions. And we need to sort it out as a team. Always treat it with that problem, not personally, right? So in corporate, I'm not saying bad at corporate, but it's just a system that is in place already. It's objective. If 1 is 1, 0 means 0, meaning there is no gray area in that sense, because corporate needs to function that way sometimes. Because if there is no structure to it, everything goes haywire for a big company.
True.
But if you are in a SME, if you are in a startup is just a glorified name for SME, by the way. So in an SME, things are more fluid, they're more flexible. If you need to do that thing, you have to do it right now. Because the best time is right now. Actually, the best time was yesterday, but the only time you can actually do anything is right now. So your mindset has to change first if you are moving from corporate to SME.
Ah, I see. Okay. And how are you actually adapting the environment? I believe that when you are with a big MNC's company, all the metric is there, you know, the SOPs is there, you know. For you from the big boys and then joining a startup company, how do you think that you can add value to the company? Is your related experience can be applied to the SME, the startup company? Because I believe that if you want to have a very good system in a big MNCs to apply to startup, maybe it will be costly. So how are you going to do that?
Yeah, definitely. Corporates has a lot of data. They have so much data about everything, right? So let me just ask the audience, and you can put up your hands. How many of you has actually ignored a WhatsApp message? You blue tick someone.
Ha ha ha.
Yeah, me too, me too. Reason is because this is information overload. Information is good until it reaches a certain point where it frustrates yourself. It frustrates everyone around you, where things keep beeping because that information is irrelevant. Same thing goes to some companies. I'm not saying the company I've worked in, but some companies bombard their employees with tons and tons of data. But in the end of the day, it's not about data. It's about actionable data. Data that you actually read and say that, okay, I'm going to create an action out of it. That's the most important thing about it.
Oh, okay, interesting. All right, Kim, being a CEO and co-founder this business, I believe that you probably would have a very strong decision making, to take a risk and everything. Maybe you can share with us, instead of joining a very extraordinary MNC's corporate, setting up your own business, what is actually your deciding factor to just do it?
I think today's probably generation, we're not so, including myself, we're not so risk-taking. We're starting to become more fearful. We're starting to become scared of making big decisions, especially, I don't have to talk about in companies or building up your business, in our personal lives as well. We are really, really scared to make a big decision, whether a decision to change from corporate to an SME, or a decision to whether to start up your own or change your major or anything. We're just so scared. I think first thing is because of the environment that we're in, environment where people always probably help you to decide what you want. Yes. So how can you filter all these things out and try to listen to what you really want and make the decision? And how can we be more of a risk taker? We need to practice that. Are we taking a photo?
Yes.
Okay. So we need to practice that, and it doesn't practice after we graduate.
True.
It practice before we even graduate, when we're at secondary, high school. How our education teach us to be risk takers. We have to. If you're not taught to be that, starting from today, you be that person and you influence the people beside you. Because if we are much fearful, generation by generation, we're not going to be able to be more innovative. We're not going to be more able to even start out our own business. Yeah, so I think the risk-taking element has to start building among, even from the people right here. Yeah.
Yeah, I just want to ask from the crowd, you guys here, do you have anything in your mind that you want to start your own business? Put up your hand.
So little one.
So little one?
You're so scared.
Okay, all right. So I believe that you need to some encouragement to do that. Maybe Luqman. So maybe you can give some tips to them. For those that want to pursue their career from their education, and also the advice from them that they are study something that they want to start up their own. So maybe you can share the tips. How they're actually going to be successful in their career.
Well, on top of what I've said before, that just you have to equip yourself with a few basic skills that will transcend whatever it is that you're doing. No matter whether you're studying literature, in engineering, you're working in corporate, starting your own business. There are a few skills that will get you a long way, no matter what you do, like good communication skills, good presentation skills, good convincing skills, and things like that.
How about the starting up the business?
Yeah, on top of that, passion is also very important. No matter whether you are studying something that you don't really want to do, or you are studying and then you want to start a business, do what you like. And I'm sure Kim and Max can also attest to this. It will be hard usually when you first start out. But if you do what you're passionate in, whatever that business is, on top of equipping yourself with the very basic skills, individual skills, make sure you do something that you're passionate in. Whether when you want to start a business, let that business be something that you're very passionate in. If you're passionate in selling like tudung on Instagram, or just do it. Because nothing worth doing is easy doing. If you are passionate about what you do, the harder that thing is, the more worth it will be in the end. And if you have that within yourself, then inshallah, you will succeed.
Yes, please.
So basically, before me being a CEO and co-founder, I'm actually a musician myself. I actually am a music graduate. So I really want to say yes. You whatever you think that is easy is not. Okay. If you want to work on your passion, I'm very, very honest to you. It's not easy at all. But it does. No one says that it's easy, right? But it's really worth the ride. Later on, when you see back, you see yourself expand better and better each day. We have interns that comes in that are so low self-esteem that thinks that I probably cannot do what the 3 co-founders are doing. Actually, what we're doing is what?
Mic?
Yeah, you want.
That's Mike.
Yeah, I mean, how many of you just now said that you wanted to start your own business?
Put up your
that
hand.
guy. That guy already has a camera business, right? Tadi macam banyak. Mana dah tak ada dah. So, you, in the end, what business do you want to start? Yeah, just scream it out. Computer specifically? Home tutor. Home tutor. Because why? What are you studying now, and why do you want to start a home tutoring business? You're studying engineering, chemical engineering, but you want to be a home tutor. Why? Yeah. So you are passionate about educating students.
Yes.
Yeah. So that passion is what I'm talking about. It's very important. It can be langsung tak ada kena-mengena dengan what you're studying now. But don't be demotivated. Things happen for a reason. I studied something that has nothing to do with what I'm doing now. Again, but especially if you're a Muslim, you believe that everything is takdir. This is your path. But if you're passionate about what you're doing, just pursue it, and you will succeed, inshallah. I'll see you in 10 years with your own home tutoring business.
Inshallah.
Inshallah. Maybe we take another one. So who want to have your own business? Anything that want to share? Okay, the lady. Can I wait for a moment? We just take a mic. So better for us to share.
Yeah. Actually,
Yes.
Actually, I would like to start up my own business, but I'm kindly have no any idea what kind of business that I should start. That's my problem here.
What's your passion? What's your passion?
Actually, I like traveling.
Nice.
Yeah, there's a lot of business that is related to traveling, and it's really fun.
Any advice, like if they want to do something that with the passion of traveling, anything that you think that?
Start traveling first.
Yeah, I did it.
Yeah. So like I said, it's a journey. It's a journey. I would say, like, statistically, 70% of the people in this world does something unrelated to their major.
True.
Nothing. What was your major?
Actually, I did international business.
International business.
Yeah.
Yeah. So later on, she'll be traveling. So it's unrelated. Yeah. So it's like I'm studying music, but I changed into business. But it doesn't mean that what you studied is not useful. There are traits that it can be useful for your next job, for your next career. You just need to, in being the Picha project, we have to be creative every day. We always have problems every day. But don't be discouraged. Problems are opportunities. So you have to change those problems into opportunities creatively, innovatively. always surround yourself with successful people. Always surround yourself with people that are very creative, very innovative. Innovatives don't happen just you sitting in the room yourself. Innovatives happen when you start communicating with people, when you start connecting with people. That is where innovatives happen. So it's always surround yourself with people like that.
Wow. That's a good one. That's a good point, right? Give applause to Kim. That's really good point. So, Max, I know that when you, I believe that you're hiring your team, right?
Yes.
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 Okay. So, actually, when you're hiring, what is the process with the startup company? Is it very lenient, very easy one compared to the MNCs? You know, they have first round interview, second round interview, third round interview, background check, criminal check, and everything. You know, so for startup company like you, so what's the process? Is it easy for them to get a job?
Trade secret. So I think for us, it's let's just put it this way. It's pretty fluid. We do checks as well. We do Facebook checks. So okay.
Dengar tu, Facebook, okay?
That's
Careful
a joke.
what you
That's a
post.
joke. All right. So what I'm trying to say to you is actually just one point, right? So everyone needs to be a storyteller. That is actually the best skill you can ever have, right? Whether you are doing sales, marketing, tech, or even management as well. Storytelling is something that will bring you from one point to a point that you want. You have to be able to represent yourself, and you have to represent your product that you sell. Without a good story, you can't actually highlight the benefits of the product you're selling and yourself. If you're a consultant, you need to sell yourself. Same thing goes for a job seeker as well. If you are looking for a job, you need to be able to look at the job description or even ask the interviewer, what are you looking for a candidate? And tailor your presentation or even the whole interview. An interview is not just about the interviewer and the interviewee, right? It's actually a conversation between both. It's just that the only difference is there's one CV in the middle. All right? So you're able to highlight your benefits to the company and how the company can benefit you. It's a way to connect that two dots. So having a good story from where you are and where you're going to be will definitely help. Or if you are even management or even starting a company. Starting a company is tough. I think Kim can relate to that. It's tough, and also management as well. Because management, the hardest thing to manage is actually humans. Without a good story of your vision, you're not able to tell the other person how are you going to elevate him or her to the next level. Because everyone is, let's just put it this way, everyone is selfish. Everyone needs to think about themselves as well, right? You need to be able to think on their shoes and say that, okay, this is my vision. How am I going to bring you to the next level? That's the most important thing. And in order to do that, you need a very, very good story and execute well as well, right? So anything, any aspect you want, make sure, think about how you want to portray yourself, whether it's yourself or a product.
You want to add something? Yeah.
I was flying to US and I was in the plane, so it was really, really boring. So I was watching a movie. I think everyone here should watch if you're talking about storytelling. It's called McDonald's. You should watch how McDonald's really create from a very, very small burger shop to where it is today. Yeah. And it's really amazing that actually McDonald's boss is not the co-founders themselves. It's another person that is really good in storytelling, and he sold McDonald's, and how is a gigantic fast food chain today. So everyone should go back and watch how McDonald's really did it.
What movie is that?
Yes, it's called McDonald's.
McDonald's.
Yeah,
okay.
It's how. Yeah.
Let's download
it's not,
together.
Not really a documentary. They made it a movie itself. Yeah. So go back and watch it and realize how the person sells McDonald's. He sells it like everyone is a family, one big family in McDonald's.
All right, anything, Luqman, that you think that is...
I would particularly like to echo what Max said. I like how you mentioned storytelling, because that is the motto of journalism. My mentor, I have a lot of mentors. One of them, Suhaimi Sulaiman, an old-time journalist, always says that journalism is all about storytelling. It's not about you reading the news, apa jadi today, blah, 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 and then masuk video, whatever. But it's you covering that event and you going back and writing the story to tell the whole world and Malaysia what really happened today. That's essentially it. Storytelling is very, very important. And it goes across, like Max said. The story, that's my job. What I need to do, the story that I need to tell is what happened in Malaysia today or what happened in the world today. Your stories are yourselves. So you have to tell a good story. And again, this ties back to how you differentiate yourself from other graduates. Everyone will deposit a CV. I've personally worked for a company who handles graduates' CVs. And I cannot tell you how many CVs have got like 3.8 pointers, 3.9 pointers, all very good pointers. You think that you get 4.0, but there are like 100 other people who got 4.0, trust me. So what sets you apart is how you tell your story. And how do you tell your story well is that you speak well, you communicate well. That's how you stand out from all the other people. And if you grasp that, and you will make it. You will show to the employers that you have what it takes, and that skill will just benefit you for the next 30 years to come.
So I can relate a bit younger, right? So I have friends. I have a lot of story to tell. If you come to me, I can tell you whatever story. But I'm sure a lot of you here will say, "But I don't have a story to tell. My life very boring lah." Right? I have friends that are like that. Who are you? I don't think you dare to put up your hands. But who are you? Are those that I don't really have a story to tell? Actually. Got a few, right? Yes. Actually, got more. You don't dare. Yeah, you don't dare to put up your hands. Well, if you don't have a story to tell, start talking to people. Start talking to people because, like I said, that's where innovative and communications start happening, and that is where people can help you to bring out your own story. You don't. Sometimes stories is not created by you yourself. Yes, I wouldn't tell you like, my mom born me and. I went to SMK something. No, it happens.
Of a movement,
yes,
like
it happens when you make friends, when you make connections. Those are stories. So it doesn't have to be a really a professional story for your career, but start creating stories with people. Yeah.
Good. Well, I think like I said, they just mentioned a couple of things that I think I can try to relate from my experience. Well, I studied in Cardiff, it's under a scholarship of MARA called Scheme Pelajar Cemerlang. So I'm not that really Cemerlang 10As, no. I'm the second last batch of SPM aggregate, so you can guess how old I am. So those days, they are really looking for someone that with the straight A's and everything, but studying in Kampong, from Kampong in Johor, the only things that make me selected for that scholarship is because my ability to speak on how difficult I was. I came from a rubber tapper family. So I'm chasing my dream. I want to be someone in future. So when you went for the interviews with the MARA officers and everything, they cried, some of the interviewers. I always feel like I'm just telling them passionately, honestly, where I'm coming from. Then, because this called Scheme Pelajar Cemerlang is actually to send those qualified students that layak lah, orang kata, that qualified for the scheme. So thanks God, but because I think I am the someone that maybe can talk from the sunrise until sunset, tak bercakap, tak berhenti. So maybe lah kan, so that's the ability. So by combine all these information, I think something that we can conclude is you just need to maximize your strength and then minimize your weaknesses. So start finding what is your strength in order for you to pursue your career, regardless what are your education background and everything. Okay, good. So I think, yeah, okay, we got the first question. Okay, sir, please check. Okay. I need to check the live Facebook question. Sorry. Okay. Okay, there is one question. Maybe Luqman can answer. Question from Munira Ma'ruf. How effective is to remote working to be your industry or business? How effective to remotely working from your business industry? Work remotely.
Work remotely. In my industry, most people work remotely because you're talking about not being in an office, right? That's what being a journalist is all about. Turn on any news channel you see, including Awani, CNN, BBC, whatever, and they have this guy in Lebanon or something crossing live, or New York or whatever. That's the whole gist of the profession, that you have to not be there, you have to be on site to tell your story. So that's how you share what happened in the world with the rest of the world. So again, this is how you tell a story, this is how you share your stories with people, and this is also interrelated with how you market your own personal stories, how you share your life story, like Fandi did, being a rubber tapper family and things like that. When people can relate, people can connect to you, people will feel you, and people will understand you, and then they will be more likely to hire you.
Thank you. That's first question. Second question, maybe I can ask Max to answer. Any tips for introvert students or persons to stand out in an interview or the group discussion? How the introvert person can be stand out?
Right. So there's always this debate within your friends, or maybe among my friends, where I'm an introvert or you are an extrovert and things like that. But it's very rare to see a true introvert or true extrovert.
They are out there.
There are pseudo extroverts, pseudo introverts. I'm just echoing what my friend actually said. He's actually a pseudo extrovert. What it means is that he's actually an introvert inside. He finds happiness in just being alone, reading his book at the end of the day. But because his job demands him to meet clients, he needs to portray that, right? So personally and professionally, you can be both.
Okay.
All right. It really depends on what your job actually wants. Because say, if you all haven't already noticed, I'm probably an extrovert. I'm leaning more towards an extrovert. But if my job actually entails me to maybe code, my team actually depends on me to actually code. I would need to sit down, need to think of how do I structure that into a web application that actually suits my team, right? So I may be an extrovert in front of my friends, but in the end of the day, the job just requires me to be there doing my job well.
I see.
But in the end of the day, you need to remember, a job is not just a job. You're doing that job, but it translates to something else. You may be a software engineer, but your job as a software engineer actually helps the sales and marketing team down there, actually speaking to clients, actually saying, I can do this for your company, okay?
Great.
A lot of salespeople, they oversell. They oversell is because the team may not be able to handle that, right? But if a salesperson that knows that, okay, I think my tech team can actually build this up within time, you can actually say, okay, I'm going to build this up for you. It's not within our functions yet. I'm going to talk to my tech team, right? You can promise that and say that, let me work this out for you. So when you go back to your tech team is probably the introvert, extrovert, whatever it is. It's totally different. There's no introvert, extrovert. Yeah.
All right, cool, thank you. So I think the third questions that maybe we can ask Kim to answer. Questions from Simon Teo. A lot of people always link new startup with technology related. It seems like this is a trend in the market today. Do you mind to shed some light in this matter?
Honestly, it is the trend.
Okay.
Whether you like it or not, yes, the world is moving. And even if you want to live back, probably you can go and choose an island to live on. But yes, that is the trend. If you really want to keep up with the modern the business, you have to even in Picha, we're trying to automate things. We're trying to get technology in, because whether you like it or not, it is going there. Whether you like it or not, Facebook is here. Whether you like it or not, Instagram is here. So you just have to face it. A lot of uncles and aunties just has to learn Facebook and Instagram to scale up and improve their business. I am in a CEO group where all the people are uncles and aunties. I'm the only youngest one there. So basically everyone runs a really multi-million company. We have people that's running probably rubber tape. We have people running human capital and things. In the end, everyone is talking about the same thing. How can we use technology to improve our work? And how can we understand the millennials better? Because whether you like it or not, people are producing people every day. So that is the reality that we just have to accept if we ever want to move forward.
So I think all these questions actually come from the FB Live, and then this is specifically for Kim. Okay, one last question for you. What are the biggest challenge you face in your startup, and how do you manage to work your way through the challenge? So these questions come from Dian Tajeng Bato. So yeah, from FB Live.
Oh, okay. What are the challenge? Every day is a challenge.
How you manage?
Every day is a challenge. I mean, the same, right? Every day is a challenge, right? So there is no. The biggest challenge probably is when you don't have money, lah. So then you have to find ways to get money. But like I said, every day is a challenge. You have to be really innovative, creative to go through all the challenges. How can you solve this and solve that? There are, like when we're talking about technology just now, there are so many technology-based products that can actually help and assist your business. So how can you use those things effectively and always, internalize that when there's a problem, how can you use those technology to help you, assist you immediately? And innovative and creativity doesn't start when you graduate. It starts when you are already at your age right now. You have to start practicing it. And like I said, in the end, it goes to how do you be creative and innovative? Communications, connecting. It's not a talent that someone is born with it. Success is not made out of 99% talent. It's made out of 99% hard work and 1% of talent. So how can you? But it doesn't mean that you don't know how to draw or you don't know how to sing. You're not talented. That's a fake statement. It is how you practice talent. Talents are practiced. Creativities are practiced. Composers don't compose immediately. They compose shit music every day until it becomes a great music. It's like that. It's anything. It starts off really shitty and then go. It becomes successful. You have to start off that way. You feel very bad for yourself, but that is a journey. You just have to feel bad for yourself, and one day you feel good of yourself. Yeah. So and being able to persist that that's also a talent. That's also a good thing. Right. So you have to practice every day.
Okay, since I'm having tons of questions from FB Live, so I believe I need to ask all of you. Any one of you that maybe have some questions that need to ask to our wonderful people here. Okay, anything, please, Q&A. This is Q&A session now. Anyone want to ask something? Okay, that gentleman.
Everyone suddenly become introverts.
Yeah.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. So I am Hakim from IIUM. So I just want to issue one thing. This is come from Astro Awani, kajian punca pengangguran di Malaysia. So it states here that they run some tests to the employer and also graduate students. So this graph shows that 31.3% of employer agreed that digital literacy is an important thing to our graduate students. But for students, from this graph, it shows that they believe that communication is the most important thing, which is 29.5% of students agree with communication.
Okay.
Only 6.3% employer agreed that communication is important. So I just want to ask maybe Mr. Luqman about these things, because this come from Astro Awani. So
Alamak.
Perfect hit. Yeah, perfect hit for him. So
Yes,
Luqman,
thank you.
answer. Otherwise you don't
so
go back.
let me just get that right. Companies say that the most important thing is digital literacy, and on the other hand, students say communication skills are the most important thing, right? Was that
Correct.
Let me just say this lah. Those two things are not incompatible. Those two things are not incompatible. Digital literacy and communication skills can complement and go hand in hand with each other. In fact, I personally think that those two things are much more potent and much better if they are used with each other. They can complement each other. The second point particularly, communication skills. I've always agreed with that. I've always lived by that motto. In fact, I've repeated it 100 times until you dah jemu dengar that communication skills are the most important thing, is the most important thing, English is the most important thing. And of course, the country also is heading in the way of the digital economy. The old economy is gone. So in fact, that is why organizations like Magic exist, because they are championing this effort to lead the country into the digital economy. So again, I've never said, or Astro Awani has never said that you need to only equip yourself with one skill. Of course, polls and surveys are subject to opinions, which are very subjective, but both of them are correct. So you as graduates need to ensure that you equip yourselves with as many skills as possible, or at least find 3 or 4 that you can literally really focus on, and those two are just right on top there. So if you can master those 2 skills, you will be an invaluable employee, or better yet, a versatile and evergreen employee. Something like, we were talking about future trends for the next 10 years, right? There's a poll, correct me if I'm wrong, that like 50% or 40% of jobs today won't exist by 2025. So there are also jobs today that we don't have today that is going to be around. So how do you keep yourself relevant? In fact, that's the whole purpose of this session. Those 2 skills, equip yourselves with it. There might be disagreements, but you can meet them halfway. You can acquire both, master both, and they will complement each other. And if you do, you should be set. Right?
All right, good answer. So you can tell your friends. Okay, this is something good questions that maybe I can ask Max before we start our forum, our session. He considered himself as banana. He's yellow outside, inside is white because he cannot speak Mandarin. So these questions come from Snow Sakura, so a flower asking the fruits. Okay, so question from Snow Sakura. What will be the appropriate story for people to share to public? Either the experiences in uni life or challenges that we face and solution we make. So from bunga to buah-buahan.
I would assume that it's a pretty general question. It really depends on what is your context, right? Like if you're looking for a job or you're hiring someone, there are all different stories that you tell, right? So you need to understand the context first. And who are you talking about? Who are you talking to? Then you create a story out of it, right? Not create, you can curate, okay? Difference, huh? So if you think you don't have a story to tell, if you think that, okay, I don't think selling, I'm finding a sales job and I'm going to relate it to where I study in uni, it's not going to help you, then think about borrowing stories, okay? So talk to people and borrow their stories. Like this person I spoke to about, they actually mentioned that selling requires this, selling requires that. Is that right in your opinion? And things like that. Borrow stories and ask opinions. If you have nothing better to say, ask. All right? So when I was in corporate at the time, I always meet a lot of top specialists, like extremely brilliant minds. And if I come to the room and start blabbering of what I know, I'm going to be butchered. I'm going to tell you that. I'm going to be butchered, right? So I always borrow stories like where I hear from my colleagues. Then I ask them, do you think this is right? What is your opinion on this? It's just a way of interviewing them, a way of asking them what is their opinions in it. And I also want to bring you back to the tech part. Tech is a trend. Tech has always been there, by the way. Who thinks that Uber is a tech company? Uber, who thinks Uber is a tech company? Okay, it's a tricky question, yeah? Actually, Uber is not a tech company, but rather a logistics company empowered by tech, okay? So tech has always been there. So if you go back 20, 30 years before that, it was mechanical. That was the technology that time, all right? Or even 60 years ago, technology was that time. So tech has always been there, but somehow or rather it's glamorized. It's because people start to understand in terms of making sense of data.
Okay, good. So a couple of last questions to Kim Lin especially. Okay, from Wali Khalid. How do you get somebody to invest on your startup? Is there any applications? And second question would be, where do you get your capital to start a business? These are questions from Afifuddin Abdul.
Money. Okay, money. Okay. Investment, yeah. So there are a lot of types of investment. You have venture capital, you have personal investment, you have impact investors. It really depends how you can show the investor your scalability. Whether investors are all interested in getting back their money, that's all. So if you can show them that your business can actually scale and return back their money in the said years in your contract, you're most likely to get invested. But today's trend, a lot of people are focusing on technology. Okay, how you use technology to, like Max say, to assist certain kinds of field, whether it's logistics or music or anything. So I think the investors are really interested in how you can use technology to improve what it is today. So try to, if we want to go more technicality, try to infuse technology into what you do, because investors, realistically, they want their money fast. They want their money back really fast. Yes, so you have to think about that. But there are, if you're talking about social enterprise, there are impact investors that only wants to see impact as well. So you have to define where you are first, and then look at your scalability, and then present. If you're talking about fundings, we Malaysians are so abundant. We're so lucky and fortunate with all the opportunities provided in Malaysia. I'm working with refugee communities where there is no rights for them, there is no opportunities for them. Only you realize that Malaysians were so lucky to have so many things, resources that we have. Magic is doing this for free.
Correct. Thanks to government.
Yeah. So, okay, thanks to government. and there's so many other workshops or funding opportunities. MDEC is just down the corner. You have Cradle, and Magic is always organizing such accelerator programs where they provide you fundings. It's not hard to get. You just need an idea, and you need to start investing your time and patience into it. It's not hard to get fundings. But also think how you can use technology to create a revenue where you don't need fundings. So Picha actually started without any funding, without any, a capital. We started off with just people paying upfront, and that is our capital. So with today's technology, it is possible. So think about that. There are many other ways, but yeah, do consider all the aspects.
Okay, Luqman, last. running out of time ni. Tapi banyak lagi soalan ni. Okay, a question from Zawi Kim. Will globalization and advancement of artificial intelligence affect the future employment for the next 10 years in Malaysia? Artificial intelligence.
Well, short answer is yes. Because that's inevitable, not just in Malaysia but around the world. I think that's logic, right? But it's not a zero-sum game because many people approach it as, oh, if robots take our jobs, then we lose our jobs. It's not as easy as that. Because we humans create the AI in the first place, and I've heard a lot of people who actually advocate for AI who said that no matter what, there will always be relevant for human beings and the human workforce. You people, especially for the future workers, there will always be a need for safeguards to the AI. So the short answer is yes, but it's not all doom and gloom. Again, it's not a zero-sum game. It's how you complement. You will be the future workforce, the human workforce in an increasingly digitized and automated and robotized world, if that's a word. So find a way to make yourself always relevant. There are some skills that can never be taken over by robots. That's just it. I'm not anti-technology. If I'm anti-technology in magic, I'll be like, they will throw stones at me. But that's it. There will always be relevance for human beings. There will always be relevance for all of you. It's how you find yourself. It's how you find that formula to always be relevant. And everyone's formulas are not the same. Find yours. Find what you're good at. Find what will set yourself apart. And that's the secret as to how you remain relevant for the next, not just 10, but 20 or 30 years. And you'll be teaching your kids the same thing.
All right. Okay, good. Masa sangat mencemburui kita itu adalah lagu-lagu yang pernah dinyanyikan dulu kan. So okay, one last questions that we going to wrap up. You know, just one last questions. Anyone of you? No, dah lapar lah tu. Okay, maybe saya tadi udah tanya, so kita bagi abang yang baju putih tu. Okay, because you are
Hi. Okay, since we are living in a judgmental society, so basically, if I want to speak in English, if I want to communicate in English, they will definitely judge me. So how are we going to like enhance our communication skills? So the question is, how do you keep yourself going with this kind of society that we have, that we live in? So yes, thank you.
Anyone want to answer? Max, perhaps?
Anybody?
So, judgmental society, right? Unfortunately, humans are quite judgmental, whether we express it out or not. It's a way. It's actually human nature in terms of judging whether that situation is bad for me or not, right? It has always been ingrained in us because if last time, during the prehistoric times where they don't really judge their situation, they would die, right? It's only by judging that situation, whether it's favorable to them, then they proceed. Unfortunately, that has just continued on and make us became who we are today. Unfortunately, to thrive with that kind of mentality, right, you just have to bang walls, right? So
20 seconds. I know, because this is very important. Those people who judge you, are they your worst enemies because of that? No, because you are your worst enemy. Don't let them judge you. They can judge you however they like, but eventually you make your own future. No one else in this world can fully utilize your skills to the max other than yourself. People like Einstein were judged during their day because they were ahead of their time. Why are you judged? Because you are going against the norm. Many people say, oh jangan cakap orang putih, cakap Melayu je. So you are 10 years ahead of them. They will reach that stage, or their kids will reach that stage in 20 years where speaking English is acceptable. So look at it that way. You are 10 years ahead of them, and if you start now, you will always be 10 years ahead of them. And talking about standing out in the employment, in the job market, if you're 10 years ahead, of course, people will be rebut you lah. You will be the in-demand employee, so to say.
I want to add on.
Just okay. 1 minute only.
1 minute. Oh, wow, I got elevator pitch. So basically, I'm from a music scene. So music is very judgmental. Whether you like it or not, people are going to say, this music cannot hear lah. Why you play like that? Ayo, you know you got practice or not one? Every day also we're judgment. But you have to practice having a strong heart, and like he said, listen to what you really want. And nobody can be a better you, only you yourself. And how can you know expand that potential and show to people? It takes patience. It takes a long way. It takes us 5 years to show people that I am doing the right thing, and how you can be successful. So don't be discouraged, because we live in an era of technology where people are self-esteem are getting lower and lower and lower. Don't get technology. Don't let technology conquer you.
Okay, thank you so much. Give applause to our panel. Bottom from my heart, so I hope that you can take something out of it, by sharing this 1 hour session. So I give it back to the MC.
Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. A round of applause once again to the moderator, Mohd Alfandi, Shamsudin, Consulting Manager of Talentvis, Malaysia's number one. The panelists are Max Thum, Lead Business Strategist, HealthMetrics, number one, Luqman, Hariz, Anchor and Junior Editor of Astro Awani, and Kim Lim, CEO and Co-Founder of Picha Project. So hope you enjoyed the session, and we have another session coming up at 3:45 in the afternoon, and that will be on work for a large company or at the mobile stage. Take care.